3 hours. That was all it was supposed to be. A simple afternoon cruise around Hawaii and back to port. 7 passengers boarded that tiny vessel expecting nothing more than sunshine and waves. Instead, they got stranded on an island that became more famous than any real place on Earth. For 3 seasons, Gilligan's Island held America hostage with a premise that made no sense. Why could the professor build a radio from coconuts but not fix a boat? Why did everyone pack so many outfit changes for a 3-hour tour? And why did millions of people accept that these 7 castaways would rather stay trapped than actually escape? Behind the laughs, the show was chaos. The network hated the original cast. The lead actress despised every second. And the creator fought battles that almost killed the show before it aired. These are the facts they never told you before we dive into video. Please subscribe to our channel. Fact 1. Bob Denver was nobody's first choice. Bob Denver was never supposed to be Gilligan. CBS wanted a physical comedian with vaudeville experience and proven slapstick credentials. Denver had spent years playing Maynard G. Krebs on The Many Loves of Dobie Gillies. That character was a beatnik who hated work and spoke in jazz slang. Nothing about that performance suggested he could play a clumsy sailor who ruins every rescue. Network executives rejected Denver repeatedly. They auditioned dozens of other comedians. They wanted someone audiences already associated with physical comedy. Producer Sherwood Schwartz saw something different. He believed Denver had untapped talent hidden beneath the hipster persona. Schwartz set up a private audition away from network interference. He told Denver to forget everything about Maynard and just be clumsy. Denver threw himself into walls. He tripped over furniture. He made every movement look accidentally perfect. Schwartz immediately called CBS and said he found his Gilligan. The network fought back for 3 weeks. They brought in bigger names. Schwartz refused to budge. He threatened to walk away completely. Finally, CBS surrendered. When cameras rolled, everyone knew Denver was perfect. His chemistry with Alan Hale Jr. was instant magic. The crew laughed during takes. Camera operators forgot their jobs because they were too busy watching. Bob Denver did not play Gilligan. He became Gilligan completely. Fact 2. 3 actors were replaced after the pilot. The original pilot never aired in its true form. 3 cast members were completely replaced before the series began. John Gabriel played the professor instead of Russell Johnson. Kit Smythe played Ginger instead of Tina Louise. Most shocking of all, Mary Ann did not exist. The pilot featured a secretary character named Bunny. Sherwood Schwartz screened the pilot for test audiences. People loved Gilligan and the skipper. They enjoyed the Howells, but everyone else felt forgettable. CBS demanded changes. Schwartz brought in Russell Johnson to make the professor warmer and more accessible. He created Mary Ann from nothing and cast Dawn Wells. He replaced the original Ginger with Tina Louise for Hollywood glamour. The original pilot vanished into studio vaults for decades. Watching the fragments that eventually surfaced feels like seeing a parallel universe where everything went wrong. Fact 3. 5 different theme songs failed. The theme song went through 5 complete versions before approval. Sherwood Schwartz wrote the lyrics but could not find the right music. Version 1 was slow and melancholy like a funeral dirge. Test audiences hated it. Version 2 was jazzy and upbeat like a lounge act. Executives said it clashed with the show. Version 3 added full orchestration that sounded like a movie. Version 4 simplified to acoustic instruments, but the singers sounded too polished. Version 5 finally worked. The Wellingtons gave it authentic folk quality. But Schwartz made one crucial final change. Original lyrics barely mentioned the professor and Mary Ann. Test audiences kept asking who they were. Schwartz rewrote the opening to introduce all 7 castaways by name with faces shown. The theme became a complete instruction manual that explained everything in 60 seconds. Fact 4. Tina Louise hated everything about the show. Tina Louise signed onto Gilligan's Island believing she would be the star. Her agents promised the show was built around Ginger. She expected top billing and centered storylines. Instead, she got an ensemble where Gilligan dominated and Ginger mostly posed in gowns. Louise felt betrayed. She complained constantly on set. She refused promotional events. She demanded better material. Dawn Wells said working with Tina was difficult because she never seemed present. Louise had Broadway training and serious acting ambitions. Being reduced to a one-dimensional character on a sitcom felt like failure. When the show ended, she walked away completely. She refused reunion specials for decades. Other cast members felt hurt, but Louise never apologized. She wanted more than television could offer. Looking back, her frustration makes sense even if her methods were harsh. Fact 5. The lagoon was a studio pool. The tropical lagoon was not tropical or a lagoon. Everything was filmed on a CBS lot in Los Angeles. That crystal water was a concrete pool filled with city tap water. Production dug a massive hole and lined it with painted concrete. Palm trees came from nurseries. Sand arrived on trucks. Rocks were foam and plaster. Maintaining the illusion required constant work. Water turned green without daily filter cleaning. Actors hated it. Chemical treatments burned skin and eyes. Bob Denver said he smelled like chlorine every night. Dawn Wells developed rashes. But the illusion worked. Audiences believed completely. Fans wrote letters asking where the island was located. Some refused to believe it was fake even when shown proof. Every episode was shot in Los Angeles. The castaways never got near a real island. Fact 6. Alan Hale expected to be fired. Alan Hale Jr. played the skipper with confidence but lived in terror. He was convinced CBS would fire him after every episode. Hale had worked for decades without ever leading a show. He studied scripts obsessively. He arrived hours early to rehearse. He constantly asked Schwartz if he was doing okay. Schwartz reassured him, but Hale could not shake his fear. What he never realized was that anxiety improved his performance. The skipper was supposed to be capable but overwhelmed. Hale brought real vulnerability. When he yelled at Gilligan, genuine frustration showed through. By season 2, Hale relaxed, but his best work was already done. Those terrified early episodes have intensity later seasons lack. After the show ended, Hale embraced the skipper completely. He appeared at conventions for decades. He opened a restaurant where he wore his captain hat. The role saved his career, and he never forgot. Fact 7. The professor sabotaged escape. The professor could build anything except a working boat. Fans asked this question for decades. Russell Johnson developed a theory. He believed the professor subconsciously sabotaged escape because he preferred island life. On the mainland, he was just another academic. On the island, everyone needed him. Everyone respected him. Why give that up? Writers never confirmed this but leaned into absurdity. The professor built increasingly ridiculous inventions. Bamboo telescopes, coconut lie detectors. Everything worked except boats. Schwartz explained the real reason simply. If they escaped, the show ended. The premise required permanent stranding. The professor had to fail at the one thing that mattered most. Fact 8. Mary Ann beat Ginger completely. Dawn Wells received more fan mail than anyone. This shocked everyone, including Wells. She played wholesome Mary Ann with no glamour, yet audiences preferred her overwhelmingly. Letters came from teenage girls and young men and parents. The volume required hiring assistants. Wells believed the reason was relatability. Ginger was fantasy, but Mary Ann was real. Viewers knew someone like her. Maybe they were like her. The Mary Ann versus Ginger debate became a cultural phenomenon. Talk shows discussed it. Magazines polled readers. Most chose Mary Ann. Wells never resented being second billed because audiences made their own choice. Everyone remembered Mary Ann. Fact 9. The Howells were based on reality. Jim Backus based Thurston Howell on real millionaires he knew. Backus grew up around Cleveland wealth. He observed how rich people talked and treated others. That lockjaw accent was real. He heard it at country clubs. The dismissiveness towards servants came from observation. What made Howell funny instead of hateful was vulnerability. Without money, he was helpless. He needed other castaways desperately, but pride prevented admission. Natalie Schaefer matched his energy perfectly as Lovey. Together, they created a portrait that was mocking and affectionate simultaneously. Audiences laughed at the Howells, but also pitied them. Fact 10. Politics killed the show. Gilligan's Island was canceled because of corporate politics, not ratings. The show performed well in season 3. Audiences loved it. Advertisers were happy. But CBS president William Paley had a wife who loved Gunsmoke. That Western was struggling. Paley refused to disappoint his wife. He canceled Gilligan's Island instead. Schwartz learned about cancellation through trade publications. Nobody called him. The cast was devastated. Bob Denver said it felt like family death. Dawn Wells cried. Schwartz remained bitter for years, believing the show could have run much longer. Fact 11. The island had no location. The island never had fixed coordinates. Different episodes placed it in contradictory locations. Sometimes ships passed nearby. Other times it seemed impossibly remote. Schwartz refused to commit to specific geography. He wanted the island mythical, not mapped. Fans tried cross-referencing dialogue to find the location. They found contradictions everywhere. Schwartz considered this intentional. The island was a state of mind, not a map coordinate. Fact 12. Two women sharing sparked outrage. Conservative viewers complained about Ginger and Mary Ann sharing a hut. They considered it inappropriate for unmarried women. CBS discussed the complaints seriously. Schwartz defended it practically. 7 people needed to share space. The arrangement was logical, but he also valued creative opportunity. Scenes between them revealed character dynamics. The complaints eventually stopped, but showed how fearfully networks navigated 1960 sensitivities. Fact 13. Denver kept the costume forever. Bob Denver kept his original red shirt and white hat. The wardrobe department let him take them when canceled. He stored them carefully for decades. He refused commercial offers. Companies offered significant money for advertisements. He turned down everything. Gilligan belonged to audiences, not advertisers. When Denver died, the costume went to his family. They have refused commercial exploitation ever since. Fact 14. All food was fake. The food shown on screen was almost entirely fake. Coconut pies came from the commissary. Fish were rubber props. Fruits were painted. Denver once bit into wax fruit. He kept chewing because cameras rolled. His face showed genuine disgust, but he committed completely. Modern fans document every food continuity error online. Fact 15. Russell Johnson survived real war. Russell Johnson flew combat missions in World War II. He was shot down over the Philippines. He survived weeks in the jungle before rescue. This experience influenced how he played the professor. Johnson understood real survival. He knew what stranding felt like. He rarely discussed military service during production, but cast members knew and respected his background. When Johnson suggested survival techniques, writers listened. Fact 16. The show had hidden messages. Sherwood Schwartz embedded social commentary in every episode. Critics dismissed the show as mindless but missed everything. It was secretly about class cooperation. 7 people from different backgrounds had to work together. Money meant nothing on the island. Fame meant nothing. Only skills and kindness mattered. Schwartz wanted to show that without social structures, people are equal. Audiences accepted challenging ideas because they were laughing. Fact 17. The Brady crossover almost happened. Schwartz pitched a crossover where the Bradys would discover evidence of castaways. They would find Gilligan's hat or the professor's glasses. CBS rejected it, worrying about confusion. Schwartz kept the script, always regretting the missed connection. Fans have imagined the crossover for decades. Maybe some ideas work better as possibilities than realities. Fact 18. The set exists in fragments. When CBS demolished the set in the 1990s, collectors salvaged pieces. Bamboo huts and rock formations and palm trees scattered across America. The lagoon was filled and paved over. Nothing marks the spot now, but fragments carry memory. Owners feel connected to television history. Some have reconstructed portions from salvaged materials. Fact 19. Coast Guard got real calls after the show became popular. The Coast Guard reported false rescue reports. Some callers thought the show was real documentary. Others were pranks. CBS eventually added disclaimers. The phenomenon revealed the show's power. People wanted it to be real. Television creates emotional realities that override facts. Fact 20. Only one castaway survives. Every cast member except Tina Louise reunited for movies and specials spanning decades. Bob Denver died in 2005. Russell Johnson in 2014. Dawn Wells in 2020. Now only Tina Louise remains. The woman who hated the show most outlasted everyone. The one who wanted to escape became the one who could not. You cannot leave the island. The island is forever.